Hello everyone and welcome back to Age Nagash, which is a channel dedicated to Age of Sigmar, and in this video we will be reviewing the preview we just had from the Warhammer community team talking about the Dominion box set. So this is all about the new Stormcast and the new Orcs and Goblins, as I've kind of called it in the title of this video, because it feels like it's a new Orc race coming out, but it feels like it's got like hobgoblins in it and orcs, so it feels like a nice mixture, and there's even a troll that they've shown us. But I am lucky enough to be joined not only by Luke, who's usually in these preview reviews, but I am lucky enough to be joined by Yasmin as well. So how are you two doing? And thank you very much for coming onto the channel.
Thank you for having us. I'm good. Excited for third edition.
Yes, excited for third edition.
Let's get this going.
Exactly. So we're going to go. Sorry, I cut you off.
I was just going to say I've never played before, so it'd be interesting to actually learn the rules for once.
Exactly. Well, exactly like being new. There's a new edition coming out as well, so there's no better time to really start and get into it. So what we'll be doing is, like I said, we'll be reading through this, and then we'll also be asking you guys as we are doing this live today, which is a bit unusual, as I tend to pre-record this, but I thought we basically do it all in one recording. Why not make it live? So put your questions or your thoughts in the chat as well, and also in the comments if you're watching this later, and I'll be happy to hear what your thoughts are on this Dominion box set. We've got the Neva one saying, I heard something about orcs. Right, you did.
You won't
Be
disappointed.
You will not, exactly. So it says, we revealed the new look of the Thunderstrike Stormcast Eternals during Warhammer Fest, and we've been dropping hints left and right about who they're facing. Today we pull the lid off Dominion once and for all to answer your burning questions. But first of all, we thought you'd like to see some of the new Stormcast Eternals in action. So there might meant to be a video here, I'm not too sure. But
yeah, there is.
There is. That's okay. It's all right if my one doesn't load properly. That's fine. Yeah. But we have got some screenshots. Guys, you want to go check out the video, go onto their YouTube channel. It's probably already there. Go and watch their actual preview they did. But it says, we've seen, so we've even saved you the trouble of grabbing screenshots. They've already taken some. So we can enlarge them, but we've got obviously one here of the Stormcast chat. We already saw that in a video before. We got basically like the halls of like some sort of Citadel and Stormcast and Azir. God knows why they frame chaos artwork up there and chaos artifacts. I mean, definitely sounds like a bad idea. But we've got that nice big bridge here. Azir, you've got stars over there. And then we've got this as well, which is very much worth watching, like I say, yourselves as well, because we very rarely see animation for Age of Sigmar. We see it quite a bit for 40k. But we very rarely see it for Age of Sigmar, so it's definitely worth watching. The quality of it overall was pretty damn good, and it also gave us a hint of some Stormcast models that we hadn't already seen yet, or basically, what we're going to see in this box set, essentially. So yeah, like go check out that video for more stuff there. But we will play the videos that it has loaded for me, just so it's a little bit better. But I see that we've got Rouse321 in the chat saying, "Evening, people. Evening, mate. Hope you're doing very well. Let us know what you're thinking. Anyone who's watching this video, let us know in the chat what are your thoughts on what we've been shown today, and if you like it, don't like it. I think all of us here do quite like what we've been shown. Fitness overall good stuff. So let's have a look at what's in the box. And there we are. What are our thoughts when we first see that?
Surprised that Yggdrasil's in the box.
Yes, that was a big thing. So I thought that would easily be a separate model that you would have to buy for obviously your Stormcast collection stuff, but it really kind of does feel like it adds that bit of value that, you know, we've got two characters facing off each other, which we often do get in these box sets, but maybe feels like it's a bit on a next level, maybe, because it's not just a guy on a Skeletal Steed, you know, like a Knight of Shrouds, and then one on a Griff Charger. Obviously, she's very different and not mounted, but also forgotten the name of it now, but the big Goblin Orc King. On the killer boss on a naked mole rat. Personally quite big. Yeah, it's an armored naked mole rat. Like we said, who would not want that? And we've got Amanda in the chat saying Indomitus AOS edition, very much what it is going to be. And they've assured us that they have made sure there's an awful amount of boxes available. I don't know if the emphasis is on the awful part, or we will have to wait and see.
Means it'll be sold out in 30 minutes. So
it will be, but like in a very affectionate way, as they will be labouring it. And then Rouse is saying, I'm biased. I really like the new Stormcast Eternal models. They seem like a mix of Sacrosanct and Warrior Chamber with a Roman theme over it. Was it a new chamber? It was. They had the name up here. I'll quickly get you the name.
Thunderstrike.
Yeah, Thunderstrike. So very much on the lightning theme, isn't it? Stormcast Eternals. So yeah, that's what they are. You know, if you got the old Stormcast Eternals, you know, chuck them, do what Games Workshop wants you to do, chuck them in the bin, buy them new ones. But yeah, they apart from the interesting choice of what they put on the front, it's probably my least favorite new Stormcast model. But the other stuff, like the new Phoenix Guard model that are going to be replacing Phoenix Guard, look great. So it says, yeah, so it says Dominion is full to bursting with glorious Warhammer goodness. 2 full armies, probably about 600 points, 700 points. Each with several units, a powerful leader, and an ample support. It also includes the full core book with an exclusive cover, plus loads of war scrolls and reference materials.
I've got an interesting one. So the Indominus boxes equaled somewhere in the region of 7 to 1,000 points. It was 700 points for the Necrons and 1,000 points for the Space Marines. Now, if we're going off the basis of 1,000 points requires 2 battle line units, which I think is fair to say, I don't see 2 battle line units in the Stormcast side. I don't see enough model, unless they're coming in units of 5.
They're coming in units of 5. Like Liberators come in 5. So technically, you get it. It gets through on that one. But it is an interesting point, certainly to make. I feel like you get a lot of stuff out of this box set. They said price-wise, they didn't say a number, but they said, think of Indomitus. So £120, I believe you said yourself, Luke, how much that was.
125, I can't remember exactly.
They said 125 in the stream, and they were saying it's going to be around that price, but they can't say.
Nice.
a lid at 150.
It'll be £125 and 50 pence.
I'm going to say it's 130.
100. I mean, yeah, I could, and then like the next one that comes out for 40k, 135, and then the next one for Age of Sigmar, they'll just go £270. They won't even do a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think like it looks good. These box sets, I always feel like I don't know too much about 40k, but for AOS, Warhammer's very expensive. Games Workshop's always increasing the prices. Don't agree with that at all. However, these box sets always do look like they're good value. If you know someone who wants one half of the box and you want one half, or you like both halves, it's like a perfect partnership, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like I think we were saying, it might have been off camera, we said this, that it feels like we usually get like 2 mounted heroes in this box set. But it looks like we have a very unique Stormcast one, you know, like the angel winged lady. And then we actually have like a huge guy riding that naked, you know, mole rat, basically dog, hound, whatever you want to call it. Like he's on a chariot base by the looks of things. So it looks like it has gone up a bit. And I feel like it'll be good value. Again, we don't know yet if they're going to be making things like some of the Stormcast units where you only get 3 models from in this box set. They come in units of 5, and then it's like the whole Soul Wars all over again. what we saw. I think it was mainly the Nighthorn who were affected by that. But lots of cool things. So we'll keep scrolling down. See, the chat has got a bit more busy. So Amanda was saying, I mean, the supply of the models they released a week ago isn't exactly encouraging. Is that like supply and delivery and stuff? Because
I suppose the Soul Blight stuff sold out really quickly. I think that's what they mean. Soul Blight stuff sold out really, really quickly.
It did, but it's nothing new from Games Workshop. Like if you want it and if you can be there on the minute, it goes pre-order basically. That unfortunately that's what it is. But you know, if you miss out, the least they will do for this, and this is me putting faith in Games Workshop, but the least they will do is make it made to order. Like
I think they will after Indomitus and how that went. Obviously, fingers crossed. But I mean, they're trying to stop all the scalping issues, and it's never going to stop. But they can do what they can, and I definitely think if they announce early on that there's going to be how many there's going to be released, get it if you can. If not, post that. We'll do made to order. If they announce that early on, I think that will mitigate a lot of the scalping because everyone will go, well, I'm not going to buy it off them because I can just get it made to order 2 weeks later. You know, I think they need to, unfortunately, speak to their target audience, which they're terrible for. But, you know, we'll see what happens with that.
Well, as I keep saying to you, everything seems like they don't communicate sometimes.
Main thing.
Yeah, Curse City.
Yeah, but I mean,
say no more.
At the same, because I mean, like a lot of the things that like I'm a big complainer when it's like bad communication stuff, but a lot of it would just be solved if they go, we made a mistake. Like even just that, it's like fair enough, rather than just like not talking about it. But the only thing I can compare, like I'd say, I didn't really get on the Indomitus stuff. I know like those Sculptors and stuff, but if I can compare it to Soul Wars, like that thing's still around to buy. Like, so what I will say though is because this is meant to be, you know, a starter box. Indomitus, and if this is like it, it's not a starter box. It's for people who already have got years into the game, are going to be there on the minute to order it. Do you know what I mean? If they don't make it in huge quantities, it's like it's just for people who.
I was going to say because they did say if they're going to target it like Indomitus, which I'm feeling they are, they did state with Indomitus that it was not a start collecting box. Indomitus never was designed to be. It was for everyone who's currently a collector who wants to get stuck into the new edition, and then after that, they then release the new 3 start collecting boxes. And I think that's what they're doing here. The target audience for the Dominion box is the likes of us. The ones who are currently in, they know that we're going to drop the money on this because we want the rule book with the fancy artwork. We want the new shiny models. This isn't for your brand new person walking into Games Workshop next week going, I'd like to start, please. That'll come out later. This is to hook, line, and sink the rest of us.
I mean, I'll be honest. So I don't have a destruction army. I despise Stormcast, but I convert these up as Slanesh from a Slave to Darkness. But I want to buy this box. I haven't bought anything for a long time. Like this looks really good.
If nothing else, you want it for that rule book with that artwork. If nothing else.
Do you think it'll have anything exclusive inside it though?
Yeah, the War Scroll cards.
The War Scroll cards.
No,
do you mean
inside the book?
Oh no, not at
all. No.
No, it's no different. It's you just want it for that lovely artwork. And I downstairs, I've got the Indomitus one, and I love it. I have it mostly for that.
I just like to say the Indomitus book with a lovely artwork. I managed to get that on eBay for cheaper than buying the standard book separately. But so if you miss out on this, don't worry. But I don't think it'll be too much of a missing out problem. But no, so that's a good point. Just reading through the chat. So we've got Rouse saying that the orcs look more like Lord of the Rings orcs, more evil looking, which is nice. That's literally, so if you guys don't know this, if you ever want to join us, we do watch this all live in my Discord and we all react to it together. And we were literally saying the words, this is like Lord of the Rings.
It just looks like The Hobbit.
Yeah, they look more like, I know it sounds weird, but like true scale orcs. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not as brutish and as cartoony as brutes, as an example. I love brutes as well, just to say.
I'm going to be interested to see how it all synergizes, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, exactly. And then Manda as well was just saying about Soulblack stuff. Like a lot of stores only got like 2 boxes and stuff, but over time, it will sort itself out. I'm not defending Games Workshop when it comes to delivery, but I think everyone's struggling with delivery stuff. I think Games Workshop just need to say that they're struggling a bit more. Then either one saying, "We don't talk about Ulfin Khan. That place never existed."
True.
Literally the cursed city.
Yeah, they weren't lying with that title.
The Warhammer community team does not stray there anymore. This shouldn't be going anywhere if it's like Soul Wars. Achieve the hyper safe is saying, yeah, I think so as well. It is going to be like that. Cool. Right. So just to scroll down a little bit more, where it says what is in the box. So 21 Stormcast Eternals, 39 Kruleboyz Oryx. I think that's a pretty cool name. When I first read it, I didn't realize it was in the thing Krul and me and stuff because they used K. I thought that the guy on the mount was called Krul and it was his boys, and I was like, he must be the leader of the entire faction. But no, it's just Orc spelling, which I like because it's easy enough to read. You get an exclusive launch edition core book. Who Luke was actually paid by GW to come on the show today to talk about how lovely the front cover is. But no,
I want my book.
I give you the book. And then you got a 24-page booklet to get started, and that's this thing here. And I'd say a lot of people, they open the box, this thing just stays in the box, you never look at it. It's like got like the little narrative of this battle and like some stories and stuff. I actually really like playing through these. I did it with like the last few ones we got, and it's just like an afternoon of fun. And it's not, if you want full competitive Age of Sigmar, you're not getting that with this booklet. But like it just sounds like a nice bit of story from the models you get from the box. So I always appreciate that. 14 War Scroll cards. So there's 14 units. I don't think that was a secret at all, but I didn't count how many units were. And 2 Allegiance ability cards. That's interesting. Yeah, that is new. So that's like an exclusive as well. So that would just be covering it until they get a new battle tome. But I imagine they'll be getting a battle tome within, because we haven't got a release date for this yet. So I reckon they'll be getting a battle tome on the day of release, maybe. If it's like Soul Wars, I believe the Nighthorn got a battle tome on the day of release, and the Stormcast did.
I think what they'll do is they're going to again following the pattern of Indomitus. You had the release of Indomitus, and then afterwards you had the release of the 3 new starter sets with the codexes of the 2 armies in there. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to get this, and then there'll be 3 new start collecting boxes for Age of Sigmar 3rd edition. It'll be the small, the medium, and the large, and then the new battle tomes will release for both armies.
Agreed. Yeah, I think that's a good point. It says, first thing you'll find after pulling off the lid are the models. It's the artwork, isn't it? You find when you pull the lid. Yeah. They literally did an unboxing. But it's a cool artwork, to protect the sprues, whatever. Are the models. So many models, and every single one is amazing. I don't like these ones. But then it says there are 9 frames of plastic loaded with 21 Stormcast Eternals and 39 Kruleboyz, the cunning new breed of Oryx plaguing the mortal realms. Much more on them later. So just in case you're joining and you haven't been following it all completely, that little teaser they gave of those like travelers around a campfire and those like red eyes that were closing in on them, they were saying this is new evil threat. That's who these people are. That's where they came in, and they are new Orcs. I think an interesting point, again, I don't know if we said this off camera because we were talking for a little bit, but one of you said that maybe it's like the new like Orc War Clans book, and then these guys can just be inside it as well. Because the Orc War Clans, until I actually read that book and started reviewing it, I did like a why play video for Orc War Clans. I'm like, actually, that's not an allegiance, that's not an army. That just contains 2 armies inside it. So it could be interesting. So it says that's 60 of the best models to ever grace a Warhammer Age of Sigmar boxed set, including a centerpiece leader for each side. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at the armies included in Dominion. So that's 60 models in total. So that's pretty cool. So we've got, I believe you wanted to read this one out, didn't you, Luke?
Yggdrasta, the Celestial Spear. She's been tasked with a mission to hunt down the beasts rising across Gur, including the new Orc menace and ultimately Kragnos himself. I don't see her taking Kragnos. I'm not going to lie. She's cool. and she'll keep coming back. But I've been looking at Krakenos today, and I'm really tempted by one. It is so big.
He's huge, isn't he?
Absolutely
huge.
Boy.
It's like I mean, can you imagine if she like had monster in her war scroll for some reason, just like the charge damage low?
I mean, she is a monster hunter, so
it's interesting though. Yeah, it's like
they were talking about the monster stuff, and that's later down, but we'll see how that goes. I think it's certainly going to help your Beast Claw Raiders, which they were doing enough damage on the charge. Now it's going to be even better.
Exactly. So, as one of the near mystical lords of Azir,
Yggdrasil was reforged by Sigmar's own hand.
keep reading.
And given a fraction of his godlike power, she takes to battle on angelic wings, hunting down the largest fiends she can find with the spear and sword. I mean, more than anything, I think they just did an amazing job on the paint job. It's a nice model, but I think the quality of the paint job is what really elevates it.
And I also like that the gold isn't really bright. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not like really
scroll down to the next one and you can compare.
Yes. There we are. Is she? Because like, if you look at that doesn't mean she's Hammers of Sigmar. Like, there's no blue because the blue and the gold.
Yeah, I think she is genuinely generic character, which possibly means she doesn't get affected by any of the traits. So that'd be interesting. Yeah,
that'd be interesting to see. So we've got the Lord Imperatant. Is that right?
Lord Imperatant.
I'll give that with the Griff Hound. So he's got one on his shoulder and one here. So these peerless leaders, is it peerless because he was pierced by the arrow in the trailer? Is that?
That was fantastic.
Yeah,
do go watch that trailer. You get to see Stormcast die.
Just for the guy who did this pun. So these peerless leaders are the finest strategists in Sigmar's service, wielding the forces of the Stormcast Eternals as one unstoppable war engine. The Lord Celestins are just like, I never wanted to be the best strategist anyway. Just make the new guy. So he's cool. I think you were saying that you like the helmet, Luke. I like him without the helmet. I like he has put, like, I think we all agreed he's put a lot of style into his hair. I don't know where he's getting gel from in Age of Sigmar.
It's not gel, it's just butter that he uses to
it's Oryx fat.
Yeah.
It's the only reason they're hunting him down. It's actually really worth a lot of money. So if you were wondering, the Lord Imperatant is indeed the main character who narrates the cinematic trailer. His very good boy Griffhound, Ironbeak, even has his own tiny hammer adorable. On the collar.
That's so cute.
That's quite good. That's I don't know how it would work.
You see, I'm sat here conflicted because Yasmin says like, oh, it's so cute, and I'm like, yeah, it's enough. That's a lovely wound for him, because that's all Griffhound. We know the Griffhound. That thing is purely there, so when he takes a wound, the Griffhound dies first. Let's not beat around the bush here. That's all that thing's there for.
Loyal companion.
Loyal companion to take the first wound.
Also, with the Griffhound like running forward, wouldn't like the hammer just bounce forward and like just keep hitting you in the chest?
I mean, it's no different to a dog tag, really, is it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, these guys have got metal loincloths for some reason, chainmail loincloths, they say. But it says the Knight Arcanum.
I love this one.
What's the last one? The Lord Arcanum.
There was a Lord Arcanum.
Who's the wizard on foot?
There's a Knight Incanter, which is
okay. So
I not long ago bought one.
Yeah. I was going to say, so they are. Well, check that in a bit. But so what they've done, they really are like just mix and matching the names now, aren't they? So like, God knows. I mean, could you imagine if you knew all the names in the Stormcast Eternal book? So it says, as keepers of ancient and forbidden lore, Knights Arcanum are eccentric wizards who are able to harness and channel the fulminating power of their fellow warriors to bring ruin to the enemies of Sigmar.
So someone else to cast the Everblaze Comet with.
Yes.
Basically, that's what you bring your Stormcast Wizard for. Let's face it, you're just going to bring down a giant comet, hit someone, dispel it, cast it again. That's all you're doing.
The question is she cheaper than the Knight Incanter? That's the question.
That's all anyone wants to know.
There's two things about her. I'm very curious as to, because she's got one of those gems like some of them later on have.
That's a great point.
And then like her mask is very Harley Quinn to me.
True. I love the mask. I would not give anything but that mask.
How does she breathe through the mask?
Oh, I mean, that's a brilliant way to demonetize your video.
We'll leave it. We'll leave it there. But what I would say though is what you made point, Yasmin, is that the gemstones. Maybe it's like some sort of like soul stones that like the Eldar have, to try and help protect them to get back to Sigmaron and Azir and to be reforged so they don't get stolen by Be'lakor. And I know there's like that problem was kind of fixed, but problems always do reoccur. So we've got her, and I just want to say one thing is like I love it how like over the time, like the first Stormcast, very easy to paint. The second set of Stormcast we got in like the Sacrosanct Chamber, they started to have all these cloths and material that made all an extra element to paint, and then these ones have just been given loads of things to put on their belt. So like naturally,
I hate painting glass vials and like the little goblet she's got there. It's like they're the worst thing. Everything else I can do, but
it's fine.
Glass is a nightmare to paint.
It is. I don't know. I just put a bit of hard coat on it. That's enough for me. Trust me, if you leave this to the last model to paint in the box, you will just you won't even acknowledge it. You're just painting as tennis ball. Done. Right, there you got the Knight Velocilar with Banner of Apotheosis. Is the Knight Velocilar already the name of the character who has the banner, like the comet banner and stuff?
I will go check for you right now.
Or it might be the Velocilar. Like, very similar. So the banners of the Knight Velocilar contain a fragment of the great anvil of Apotheosis, which the Stormcast Eternals were forged. The power that radiates from them fortifies all those who fight nearby. Maybe +1 to save, potentially. Something like that. Reroll 1 to save. Maybe a bonus gets charging. Who knows? But it's a cool banner. I like it how it's attached by the looks of things to the back of his armor as well, just to give it some support. I think, was it you, Yasmin, who mentioned earlier, though, that the banner does look a little bit...
It wasn't me, but it was pointed out. But I think it's because it's got 3 points of attachment. It's got one behind the head, one on top of the fist, and then it looks like the base of it is attached to his foot. Yeah. So it doesn't line up properly.
But hopefully that's just the build quality here and not the model itself. Yes. Exactly. So it says Sigma on the front, and then it says the Anvil and Apotheosis and Sigma on the Anvil on the back, which is quite cool.
You are correct. The Knight Velocilar was the previous model, which held a not very good banner. So I think this is an improvement.
So, but it's the same.
It is the same one. They've just got it's just got a different banner.
I like that. So it's not just another character, basically. And then we've got the Praetors.
Yeah, I love these.
These, and they also are going to be my Chaos Chosen for my Slaves of Darkness army. Like, they literally fit the bill 100%. Yeah, these guys are very nice. And they show, when we talked about the gemstones, like this one here, it shows it's not just like on their helmets. It's like generally a part of them. It reminds me of I know the Space Marines, I don't know really anything about the lore, but a lot of Space Marines got like the 2 like metal studs on the side of their head.
Yeah.
It kind of has that little vibe to me, but I feel like it's to protect them, maybe their souls to go back up. It says these elite and stylish, I do agree, bodyguards are soul bounded to the heroes they're charged to protect. Oh, so they pass wounds off? That seems like a very easy thing.
What's the ones you've got in Ossiarch Bone Reapers?
Immortus Guard.
Yeah. Oh, if they're going to be like that, that's excellent. And if they can grab the no, it's fine because they're going to be the next
Phoenix Guard.
Phoenix Guards, which means they'll have a 4-up shrug. It'd be wonderful.
Yeah,
it's what everyone wants. Watch them have 1 inch reach though.
one inch reach. Probably a 3-inch movement, but no, they'll be 5. They're quite stridey. And then on the other side, though, we have got the Annihilators. So basically, the Hulk. Hulk and Goliaths that dish out pain as well as they take it. Sounds very like Slaanesh. But they charge into battle with the force of a meteor. So basically, they're Everblaze comets that you can take in your army. You charge one in, and it goes boom within the 6-inch marker. And then you got 12. No, but this is my favorite one without the help. I mean, I've seen worse models, but I just feel like they're a bit like a cube. They're a bit too something. I never played it, but something out of Minecraft, right? They just feel like a bit too.
I don't mind them too much. I'm looking forward to getting them and testing it. I want to remove that bit that comes up behind the head. If you could bevel that down so the shoulders just come up that side and go back down the same way, I think they would look a million times better. So yeah, a bit of clipping, bit of filing. I think they'll look really, really nice.
They have very chunky boys as well.
But
there's nothing wrong with having some chunky boys. You know, if you've got to get in, and they got a 2-up save. They were saying,
right?
Yeah.
I don't know what reminds me. I will say their shields I really like. I think they've done a great job.
I like the fact that on the shield and on the hammer, it's got that raw beaten iron look, which is or like they're made in meteorite, which is possible.
Oh.
With the force of a meteorite, they've got that lightning. It could be made out of meteorite.
It could be, yeah. That's a good point. These ones, which are like your standard new infantry for the Stormcast, but one of my favorites, the Vindicators. Is it Vindicators? I thought that was already. I think. I don't know. So many names for the Stormcast. So, wielding lightning-blessed spears and shields, arcs of blazing Azurite power form around them as they hold the battle line. Liberators is crying.
It's when you take Liberators and mesh them with Lumineth Wardens.
Yeah, exactly. What's not to like? So they come in units of 5, presumably. I hope this stuff comes in units of 3, by the way, like we've already mentioned. I hope these come in 3, because otherwise that's just annoying, like we were saying earlier. But yeah, these are cool. These are like we were shown one of these and one of these a few weeks ago, weren't we? I like it how they've got the banner. I think that's cool.
Love the inclusion of banners.
Yeah, that's because also, I know in the rules, I don't know, maybe gives you +1 bravery, or they all tend to do different things now. But what I like as well, banners are just cool, aren't they? In a unit,
it helps the dynamic of an army on the tabletop. If you've got lots of units, different banners are going. It looks nice.
Yeah, and as you are a historian, what I'd say is in history, it's like a heavy presence of banners a thing to help with all the morale and courage.
Definitely.
Basically, yeah.
More than anything, it's so you know where everything, you're looking across the battlefield, you know what's going on.
Yeah, you know who you're going to be stabbing in what direction. But yeah, these are very cool. There was also here he is. We're saying this chap here, just like the hair is really good. It just feels different, and
it's nice to see it molded rather than just being like, oh, he's been painted such way. That's actually molded in.
And a lot of times,
nice nod.
And it's not just like a skinhead, just shave. What they've done quite a few times. So very nice stuff. I like the inclusion of abs on all these guys, but as the Never One said, hype for the Mordor boys. That's what we're on about. As much as I like all this, can't deny, more excited for this stuff. So we've got Kruleboyz Oryx. But who exactly are the upgraded Stormcast Eternals going to be up against? Well, you can think of the new Kruleboyz Oryx as representing the other aspect of the twin-headed god, the Mork to the Iron Jaws Gork, if you will, because obviously they've already stated it, but the Iron Jaws much more follow Gork, and it's nice to see some differentiation because they say basically they're different but they're the same, aren't they? Like Mork is cunning, is brutally cunning, and then Gork is cunningly brutal, something like that. One is the other one.
Samuel in chats just said that AOS Isengard, and I enjoyed in the chat earlier we were talking, and someone called them the Uruk-hai.
Yeah. Could they get away with that? I mean, they haven't called them that, but they could have maybe been a thing.
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, they've got enough licensing with Tolkien family and everything. So maybe
they have. Right, let's play the trailer and see what we think.
Entry number 41. I've had a breakthrough. The beasts made it past the guard. Many were taken. A tragedy, but a fortunate one. A knife left behind. Thinner this time, not at all like the ones in the books. Designed to pierce armor, perhaps, but with what? Not the usual Orc approach either. Barely even shouted. Diversions, far more cunning than before. Something is brewing in the swamps, I'm sure of it. And as, if my theories are correct, then we are in more trouble than we know.
There we are. I think something I noticed the second time around watching this, what I appreciate, like the soundtrack's really good. Like, I think that's cool. Like these guys they kind of reminded me of when there are rumors that maybe the Gits mob, which some of you may remember, which was like all the Doomdiver cash bolts and spear chuckers and stuff and grot units when Age of Sigmar first happened, that was kind of a faction which they got rid of. This kind of reminds me of like the new version of it. And like I mentioned earlier, that these definitely remind me of like, if you want an Orc and Goblin sort of style army, this definitely feels like the one for you, rather than just going, you want your Goblins going Sway Gits, you want your Orcs go Iron Jaws, or you want to mix and go Grand Alliance Destruction. It's not really much of an option. So it says, the Kruleboyz are still brutal, but their cunning makes them more amendable to picking off foes at range and stabbing someone in the back instead of charging in headlong. And here's a question for the chat, and I'll ask you too as well. Like, thinking about it, Destruction doesn't have much shooting, like especially in the Oryx side, like the greenskins, because like you can name like the bellow of an Iron Jaws Maw Crusher, or you can you've got Arrow Boys, haven't you, for the bone splitters? But I think these are going to be more precise with those crossbows and more armor piercing. So that's pretty cool. And like we said, like in the trailer for the whole thing, didn't load for me on the screen. You see that Stormcast guy get a bolt through his chest. So, and the armor for those Stormcasts is like 1 or 2 inches thick, probably, isn't it? So
yeah, easily.
That's a good bolt. So it says, they make their homes in bogs, swamps, and murky places, especially in Gur. When Cragnus began his rampage, the Kruleboyz took him like a moth to flame, worshipping him as destruction incarnate. The Kruleboyz are rising up all across the realms to join their kinfolk, and they're bringing some big, nasty beasts with them. And that's probably where we get to. Okay, there's more reads. I thought there'd be a troll or something just a quick look at. But there's a nice bit of artwork here. This is also the artwork that's going to be inside the box set. And what I said when I saw it is it kind of reminds me of like more fantasy style artwork. Yeah, like it's very nice. I like it. And who we got? We got Sam in the chat saying no siege weapons, though before these guys, I think. Yeah, that's true.
There isn't any in the Oryx, however, there is in Destruction, because you have the Iron Blaster for the Claw Raiders, which is a siege.
That is true. That is true. I suppose the Greens like Gits maybe have a Squid Gobber, but like it's a bit of a finny one. Nothing like grot made. I was going to say madly. And then
no pump wagons or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Never one says, Range units are a huge deal for me. I mean, all I can say is someone who's played not really of any range units, and then they played Ostrich Bone Reapers for a bit, and I got to play with some catapults. I know catapults are quite obnoxious. Everything else, don't worry, I didn't run for them, just two. All I can say, like, catapults are like one end of the scale, right? So bear that in mind. But it was bloody good fun having some shooting. So when you go, oh, that thing needs to die, not going like, well, I'm going to have to get past the 3 screens to it first and everything else. It's nice having, even if it's just one unit of shooting or something, just to do a bit of damage it definitely is a massive thing. So yeah, I completely agree with you with that one. It says these new additions to the Orc War Clans. So that is that. I don't think we read that earlier, did we? So so will they get a battle tome, or will they get the Orc War Clans? Maybe get a new book, because it's not that old. I suppose maybe it's about 2 years old now. So yeah, actually, fair enough. So these new additions to the Orc War Clans have been designed with cues going way back to the early days of Warhammer. The leering faces on the red shields will no doubt feel familiar to a hobbyist of a certain vintage, while setting them apart from other Orcs. Yes,
they do look like the classic sort of your night goblins, like that back in Warhammer Fantasy with their like moon shields. That's the big aesthetic I'm getting from it.
And there's the Ard boys now, the Black Orcs, where they were. I believe on their banner they had like one of these faces.
Yeah, I think so.
That sounds familiar. So, because I when we first saw this, like the first couple of minutes, I was thinking, oh, they're like stretched squig faces, but they're not. That's generally they made their shields look like that out of metal. So it shows like their crafting's pretty damn good. So it says, leading the Kruleboyz from the bogs are sadistic killer boss warlords. So yep, that's it. If you're worrying that you like these models, but you think I'm gonna do a destruction army and a goblin army or an orc army where their leaders don't have the word boss in it, don't worry, they still have it for this one. And it is not technically a giant naked mole rat, but it is a great gnash tooth, which is also a great name. And it says these influential killer bosses often ride a ferocious boghound into battle. The beast's slavering jaws and lopping speed make them well worth the trouble and possibly a loss of limb of taming. Right, so what I'd say is that when it says it's really fast, I mean, this thing probably moves about 10 inches, 12.
10 to 12 inches, yeah.
But it's still faster than on foot. He's a big, because I originally thought he was like a grot. But he's like,
he's an Orc.
Yeah. So like, and also I'd say about these Oryx, they feel like they're all muscular and stuff, but they're not like strong men. Like, you know what I mean? They're not like that massive Hulk sort of, bulk or something like that. They're
yeah. Well, I think that leads into the whole. I think that leads into the whole more sort of the cunning. Is like the Oryx they're big for the sake of strength. Like they will come in and they will just hit. These ones they're much more built for purpose and stuff. Like they understand how it was. And I really want to know what's on the back behind his spear because it looks like a chicken on a stick, and I cannot.
It's an ogre.
I was thinking it's like a chicken or a turkey.
Yeah, I've just worked out that it's an ogre head, but it keeps looking like a chicken.
Well, he gets hungry, and I think when I mean he, I mean the mount. I mean, I remember reading something about like Goblin Wolf Riders like back in the day, and it was like, or Squig Riders maybe. I think it was Wolf Riders, and it was just saying like, the grot or the goblin back then has to work very hard not to fall off the wolf, because the wolf will then just realize that it's got food here rather than having to charge towards the enemy to get food. And like, so I like it. I think it's cool. Yeah, and I feel like they've added so much more detail to like, these Oryx sort of models without it feeling out of place at all. So yeah, I really like this. What does everyone in the chat think? Do you like the killer boss on Great Gnash Tooth? Because I think myself, I love it. I really like it, and I believe you two like it as well. I think we can all agree. Let us know in the chat what you think as well, or in the comment section if you're watching this on demand later. And then we have the Swamp Caller, Shaman, and Pot Grot. So the repulsive even by the standards of the Kruleboyz. Swamp cooler wizards channel the foul magics of the swamp into toxins and vile elixirs to aid their kin. Kind of reminds me of the can't remember what they are, but there was that like they're not a unit, but there's a box you can buy for the Gloomspite Gits where you get like 5 weird looking wizards shamans in it. It kind of reminds me of like an Orc version of that. But I think this is done. I think this is done well. I like it that obviously they're continuing the theme of all having like the belt buckle. Almost it's the size, you know, the Mork plate. It reminds me of like the gut plate for the ogres. Like, you know, it's that sort of size, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, I like this. I like the giant skull on its back.
Yeah, it's a behemoth skull, isn't it? That he's actually attached to himself.
Has he attached it via like massive nails?
Possibly. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure they're not just going into his back.
Yeah, like through his stomach into his back and to keep the skull plate on.
Well, I'd like to remind everyone that the Urukai do not feel pain. So there we are. Yeah. I think that's the reason for it.
And I love that his staff is the hand of Mork.
Yes. I think
that's such a nice touch.
Is that what that is then?
Yeah, so it's a hand.
On the stream,
so, oh, they're not Mork, are they? They're Grok. They're the other one.
That is Mork.
So, yeah, it is Mork, yeah.
Yeah. So and then we've got like what's his name? A Pokrot. Lovely name. I think, you know, Stan, he knows what he does on the job. Yeah. So yes, and the Neva one is saying that love that shield. Yeah, that shield is awesome. You know what? I'd love a real size one of those to have like. Well, firstly, I'd love a gaming room, and then I'd love a real size one of those just to go on the wall of the gaming room. That would be cool. That'd be great. So yeah, I like this. Still my favorite hero so far for the Kruleboyz, but he is cool as well. And then this guy is nice though as well. I really like all of them. So we've got I'm just going to turn the Discord off because I know that does keep binging. So we've done that. It says the killer boss with a stab grot. So every killer boss is ruthless and ambitious, having backstabbed, poisoned, and otherwise disposed of anything that stood between them and their leadership goals. And that is what obviously the Stormcast did, stood between the goals. But I like it how all of these like heroes, apart from like the Mountain one, have all got like a grot companion. And that very much continues like the Orc and Goblin theme, I feel. He's really cool.
I would replace the shield for the second swingy mace. I think it just creates a nice difference between him and the other one.
Yeah, see, I like the shield because I think it continues the theme, but I know what you mean, just to have a bit of a
variation.
I mean, it comes down to what the rules say. At the end of the day, like if that spiky ball is D3 attacks, 4s and 4s, no rend 1 damage, and that shield gives them +1 save, I'll very much decide my opinion on which one. Yeah. But I like it how like he mimics him as well. And it's like a gladiator sort of style.
I was just about to say it's got a very gladiatorial feel to it.
It's just, and he's made all the armor himself. He's even made himself little knee pads. So I think it's cool. Yeah, I like it.
Samuel's just said in chat that they can't wait to see someone paint up these guys with white hand on their faces on the shield.
Oh, 100%. Like 100%. Yes. And you can easily cut that to make it look like an Urukai weapon. Like just cut them off.
Oh, it's going to be brilliant.
It's going to be great, isn't it?
All of these.
It's just like all the Lord of the Rings players just been waiting for new Urukai models, and it's like, here you go, just in a different system. The new one is saying, take your goblin to work day. 100%.
What you were saying earlier, Yasmin. Take your kid to work day.
Take your kid. Daddy, what do you do? I want to see. Well, son, make yourself some armor, and I'll take you. Okay.
Come along, stab him in the knees. Everyone has a great time.
It's called an apprenticeship.
Exactly. You know,
learn on the job.
The Kruleboyz are doing a better job than the British at the moment for apprenticeships. So yes, I agree. It says this vicious warlord is also accompanied by a brave little fella who's super into stabbing things and can be kicked in front of a blow meant for the kill. That's awesome. Like, so he takes
the wound. I want him to have a ridiculously good attack characteristic. I want him to have like 3 attacks, 2s and 2s.
Well, but you want him to be better than Guy.
Oh yeah, definitely. But he has to take the first wound.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I like that. It says, does that basin detail count as another Stormcast Eternal model? That would make it 22, so it doesn't. Just to be clear. But it says Merknob with Belcher banner. So I think this is my overall. Like, the guy riding the massive mount is the coolest. Flat out, like, just it's big, it's cool, everything else. Before we get to I'm talking about what we have in the box set. Like, in the box set. But I think a takeaway just being the cool thing because you're the biggest and nastiest. This is my favorite other hero. Like, and he looks like the someone said it to me like 4 times in the Discord, and I've forgotten again. But like,
Azog the Defiler. Yeah, Azog the Defiler. I would have to paint him up. I would have to paint him up as a pale orc. Like, no question. That's definitely what's going to happen.
So it says, holding aloft, icons wrought in the form of Kragnus. So it's Kragnus, so not Morg. The living earthquake. These strange devices offer protection against enemy magic and flood the battlefield with choking swamp gas. That's cool. The Lumineth being like, oh, we use the realm to empower ourselves. And these guys like, yeah, we use the realm as well. It's called, vile and disgusting.
I wonder if it will be something a bit akin to, not something anyone really ever uses, but the Chaos Dwarfs had a rule that anything flying would take damage if it moved over a certain distance.
Oh, yeah.
The burning skies. So I wonder if it's going to work something akin to that.
Yeah, it could be. Could be interesting. It's even got like a maggot on the times. Well, I think they did like a rumor of that, rumor engine photo, and I thought it'd be maggot and stuff.
Because I remember they were saying in the stream that, of course, that's Kragnos at the top. That's that picture.
Yes.
And then the plate underneath is the Oryx. And then the plate underneath that is the Goblins. So it's like a hierarchy.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like that. And what I'd say as well is probably not, but it'll be a good opportunity for Kragnus to be in the Uruk Warclans book and like feel like it synergizes with a certain army being the Kruleboyz. Is that going to happen? Absolutely not. But it would have been like an easy thing they could have done and wouldn't have taken long. But yeah, really like him. And then we've got the Manskewer Bolt Boys, which is my favorite unit to come out for these guys. So Orcs who embrace range weaponry. So who was saying that? Was it? Yeah, it was the Never one you were saying that you like to range. So it says, but they can be found amongst the Kruleboyz. Bolt Boys coat jagged tips of each bolt in potent poison, mostly because they enjoy the death spasms the toxin causes. I mean, that's fun.
I want you to have to, after you've been shot by one of these, every turn you have to take a resistance to that poison. If you fail it, you take another mortal wound. Like, carry on wounds.
You fail it, you're dead.
It reminds me of... Shoots Marathi. Failed. Oh, dead. Gone.
Please say this is the one rule that negates Marathi's.
That would be beautiful.
That'd be great, wouldn't it? It's like, what do you need to take damage? No, you just need to be hit. What do you hit on? 2s. Great. What I'd say is it reminds me of Scragrot, I think his name is, the king for the Gloomspites. He's got a spear where he throws it at the enemy. If you get hit, you take a mortal wound, I believe, in every following battle round.
Yeah.
So it's like, it could be something akin to that, or it could make you -1 to wound. But obviously death spasms are always fun. So there's that. It then says, as you've seen in the cinematic trailer above, there are indeed Oryx with Dead-Eye aim. One of them bull-eyed the Lord Imperatant, which they did. And something that, again, I think was cool was seeing that trailer and like the Stormcast don't always win. Like it was nice to see that as well. Like, I appreciate
4 up to hit, because it's never going to be as good as the 4 says, right?
Yeah, right. So these are them. I really like the helmets. I mean, I don't know how many eye slits you need, but I think I like it. I think it's cool.
You know what? And I'm noticing this slightly with this faction. It's not very often I'll say it, but they look too big for their base. Usually things aren't, unless they're on a 25mm base, usually things are either correctly proportioned or slightly too small for a base.
Well, they're making the battlefield slightly smaller, aren't they? So they're trying to compensate. But yeah, I know what you mean. It feels like that. Because back in the day where bases in Age of Sigmar didn't matter, if this came out, I'd maybe put them on bigger bases.
Yeah, I'd do one size up for them.
Yeah.
Particularly him. I think he sort of, to me, embodies that.
Yeah, but yeah, very, very nice. I like that. And then we've got...
he's not got the thing on his... Like, he's the only one so far that hasn't had, like, the face on his waist.
Yeah, he's got it on his shoulder, hasn't he?
Yeah.
That's true.
Because they've all got it, but he's got it on his shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, he's the Walking Dead, basically, at this point, isn't he? For that sort of transgression. But we got Sam saying, I can't wait to see someone paint up these guys. Okay, so with the white hand jet. And what was it? We got that guy, I love everything about the Kruleboyz. I think I agree with you on that one, 100%. And then the Never one says, so much personality in that face. I can't remember what face it was. That
was for him.
Yeah,
that's really cool. I like that. And then we've got Gut Rippers. Yeah, Gut Rippers. Cool. Armed with a poison blade. So poison's a big thing with this. And scarce shields. Mobs of these troops comprise the stinking heart of the Kruleboyz army. That I think for basic infantry, they look great. Like, I'm a huge... It kind of reminds... It's like quite parallel to the Stormcast, isn't it? In the terms of like Stormcast with shields and spears. These guys, shields and spears. Maybe not as good as a save, at a guess, but...
but you're probably going to run more of them.
100%.
Yeah, they are just lovely.
And
they do really have just more to them. As you were saying before with the Oryx, they're very single-minded. You've just got that hit, kill, bash. These have more life and almost culture to them. They've just got more. You can see more about them.
And I was saying, wasn't I, that I would like Destruction to have more to it than just Destruction go smash. And these guys are still like that, but just just to have something more behind it, I think. So yeah, I do like these guys. And what we're saying as well is that because they first showed us all the heroes and stuff, and guys as well in the chat, let me know which one of your favorite heroes we've seen for the Kruleboyz. That'd be cool to see as well. But going through all this, they're good, but it's quite a bit of detail going on, for your standard orcs. But then when you get to, we said it when we saw it, the basic ones, it's that's not too much detail. That's fine. It's a nice balance they did. And if you didn't want to make it look all sort of weathered and everything, the armor, you could paint it up really quickly.
I'd probably do what I did for my Blood Bowl orc team, which is paint it silver, go over it with Black Templar contrast, so it looks like blackened metal, and then just do a couple of scratches.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And then we've got the Hobgrot, which is not a hobgoblin, it's a Hobgrot. Slitters. So, Diminutors, is that right?
Diminutive.
Oh, okay, I see how it works. Allies of the Kruleboyz, Hobgrots lob strange explosive devices and wield wicked daggers to deadly effect. So they have got the stick grenades from the German military. So they're not part of the army. They are part of the army for all purposes and stuff, but they are an ally to them. They're not. They're bullied into it.
They're my least favorite part of the box.
I think it's mainly the color, though. I agree. Yeah, I agree. They're my least favorite as well.
I think to a degree, for me, it's the proportion. I think the torso is too long. I think that might be the issue I'm having with them.
All their legs are short. Yeah. All their legs are short. That's the thing. Every single.
Yeah, but I think it works okay on the Oryx.
But
I've not got a problem with the grots. It's just the Hobgrot.
I think it's because it's kind of emphasized on these guys because they've not got much to them, and so you can really see sort of where the hip armor is.
See,
this emphasizes.
Yeah, and this one looks fine, but then this one looks weird.
To be fair, equally, it could just be the angle that the photos have been taken on. It's happened many times before where I've looked at an image and gone, that looks terrible. Someone's playing with it on the table, and I'm like, oh, it actually looks like that. That's not bad at all. It's just one of those. Sometimes you just have to wait until you see the model itself.
Agreed. Yeah, I feel like that. So we've got the Honest Aspire as well saying, I love that GW remembered destruction. It looks like we're getting loads of models for absolute sure. 100% with that. Will they be good in the game? But you are getting new models. But it says that covers the models themselves. We told you this box is hefty. 3.6 kilos, I think they said.
Something like that. Yeah, it's a weighty, but I mean, Indomitus was heavy, and this is heavier than that. And it's just ridiculously heavy.
I remember those boxes, like, I think it might have been Warcry, mate. It might be the first Warcry box.
That was the heaviest one.
Yeah, it was on the table. Where, like, I think I was at Warhammer World, they were previewing it. It was on the table. I went to pick it up with one hand, and then you just suddenly, like, the shock of going, oh, fuck, that is quite heavy. So it says, remember, responsible lifting is important. When picking up your order, bend with your knees. So make sure your back is well braced. And okay, so I'm actually telling you this.
I feel like I'm being personally attacked here.
So Luke suffered from some injury at work because he didn't ask for help when he should have, by the sounds of things. So get someone to help you carry it, basically, and your posture is correct. Before attempting to lift a minion, there's no shame in asking a buddy for... So that's not even a joke. That's
literally what they're telling you.
3.6 kilos. I mean, come on. But it says, what else is under the lid? I mean, this is probably the main reason why it weighs so much. But after you've done pouring over all the incredible models that you're going to have to build and then actually face painting, you'll find a beautiful hardback core book with an exclusive textless front so you can see every detail of that stunning artwork, which basically means that when you turn the page and you see that artwork in the book anyway with no text over it, but you get to see it on the front of the book as well. So we've got Brave Stormcast lady going into the hive of the chaos, which is definitely not correct in law, but just obviously going into some chaos entities there. I don't know what her plan is. It looks very much like she'll get swallowed up, but fighting chaos, not standing down, all of that. I mean, just can you imagine a core rule book without a Stormcast on the front? But obviously that's something we'll never see. Jesus Christ, it's 360 pages. So this massive 360 page tome that you'll probably only ever need to read 40 pages of.
I was gonna say 20 pages of rules.
Yeah, 20 pages.
It's if you just look at it nicely, it's a page a day.
Yeah, and you get 5 days rest. It's wonderful.
Exactly.
Your year's sorted.
Exactly.
There you go, Nagash. Your next year's content is each day you just really, what page are we on today?
A reading from this, yes, that would be awful. As and even let's say the paragraph continues on to the next page, so you haven't finished the sentence. Find out tomorrow of what it is. And but you have to start the sentence as well. So you finish the sentence, you go to find out tomorrow. That's I mean, to be fair, what was the old? I mean, I've got the old book somewhere. What I'd say is, I didn't read all of the old core book, but I did read some of it because I also talked about what it was like for mortals living in certain realms, because it was before Sigmar, and also just had amazing artwork in it because you just had what people looked like from certain realms and stuff. So
it is worth reading. They are always worth reading. The lore is very well written. It really helps sort of. I feel it helps you when you're sort of having a look and it's like, all right, so my army's from Gur. If I'm doing new, let's say I was doing a new Cities of Sigmar army, which I'm not, and it's going from Gur. Well, what? Tell me more about Gur, and you can read about it in the book and sort of influence how you're going to design them, how you're going to do your bases, if nothing else. It's always actually worth reading through the 340 pages of lore.
I also think it'll really help as well later on with, as they mentioned, the campaigns and stuff.
Yes.
So it'll probably really help you sort of get into that.
Actually, yeah, you're right. There is a new campaign system. That's true. So it'll be 320 pages of lore.
300, yeah. I agree. I think there was, and like, let's say you struggle with reading, like, I'm severely dyslexic, for example, and let's say you just don't want to read it, you haven't got the time. Just the artwork alone is like, it's like, to be, like I said, I don't want to buy any new models or anything like that because I've got a big backlog and all that. Like, I'm gonna need to buy this book anyway.
Yeah.
Like, so
just to play.
Yeah. So. Exactly. So it is also tempting to get it. But then it says, so this massive 360-page tome accounts for some of the box's weight. It includes heaps of new background and artwork for every faction in the game. Can't wait for the Legion of Asgore artwork.
Please. Yes.
Get that in.
It's not there. It won't be there.
It's bloody hard trying to find artwork for their tribute video.
I bet it was, yeah.
Really, like, so much of it was unofficial, like crazy. Yeah. So plus the best rule set and layout yet for Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
We'll wait and see on that.
We'll wait. Well, they mention. I mean, they'll probably list it later down below as well, so I won't go too much into it now. But they mentioned there's going to be some new stuff in Age of Sigmar that's going to change the game up quite a bit, and I hope it's for the better and not just the sake of making a new edition. Because obviously Warhammer makes a lot of its money. Case Watch makes a lot of their money on books. So yes, and then we've got Carl as well saying, "Can't wait for Chaos Wars." I know, mate. Literally the next faction coming out. So we'll do that.
Don't lie to me. Don't you lie to me.
So Luke joined me for the how to why play Chaos Wars video. I'm almost tempted just to kind of take it down.
Honestly, at this point. Most of the models aren't even available on Forge World anymore.
There's probably a bit in it where we said, like, yes, and it's got a long shelf life left still in it, but there's not really anymore.
Yeah, that was a bad move.
We got a year out of that video. So it says, in addition to the core book, you'll find reference cards for army-wide allegiance abilities, 14 war scrolls, and 24 war at Amberstone Watch book to get you started. I think we already mentioned this, but it was nice to see the allegiance abilities on, like, because that is useful. Again, this will, like, I think we said that the book will probably be on pre-order the week after or something. But it's enough to get you carried through. Or if you don't want to buy the Battle Stones for whatever reason, you've got the allegiance is here.
This is one of those things that, we talked a little bit about price earlier. It's probably around the 125 mark. Well, how much is a core rule book when you buy it? 50 quid. How much is just the War Amberstone Watch? One of the little campaign books, they could be 10, 15 pounds. Your War Scroll cards, 20 pounds. I know you're getting less War Scrolls cards in this one, but suddenly, you add all that together and how much you actually pay for the miniatures. Like, you're getting your money's worth out of these boxes.
It's almost like it's cheap to make the miniatures at this. Like,
surely
could you imagine? Turns out they've been made in China for the last 20 years. They've just lied. But no, I'm sure they haven't. The books, though, all made over there. Yes. But what I will say about it is, like what you mentioned, how good value is. If you can find someone to split it with, like we were saying earlier, like it's a no-brainer. And I have, I'd say I've got like a split personality disorder. So, easy justification me. And then we've got JR saying hi mate, hope you're well, thank you very much for joining again. I was just going to say, like, all this stuff we're going through, obviously we're like going through and talking amongst ourselves and stuff, but definitely put through in the chat and stuff what your guys' thoughts on all of this, good or bad, be glad to hear it. And then we've got Mary Doc saying, you guys think the new Orcs will get a new battle tome, or are they going to include in Orc War Clans? They will be Orc War Clans, as far as we can say, because there's a bit up here where they actually worded it in, which I probably won't be able to. Yeah, so these new additions, the Orc War Clans. So we've got that right here. Yeah. They could. There's a chance they could get their own battle tome, but it would feel a bit weird unless they wanted to unless Bone Splitters was going to get big and they'll give them a battle tome and Iron Jaws battle tome, but they done that and then they went back on it. So I don't think so. So are we all ready for a
cringe fest?
For a cringe fest. I just feel sorry for. I think his name's Nick. I don't think he wants to. I don't think he wants to do this. I've met him briefly at Warhammer World when I asked him a question or something. Seemed like a nice person. Don't think he wants to do this. And then we've got the new one says, I hope they're in the WAH. Wow. I'm not really too sure what you mean, but maybe if it's like war, as in like, all the orcs stuff come together and fight. Absolutely. I don't think I mentioned war in their thing.
No. Well, in the first video, he said they're weird. They don't even scream.
Yeah, like
there's no war. Well, orc players everywhere will sit down and start contemplating the universe.
Yeah,
you stop orcs shouting, and suddenly everything goes sideways.
Lanky Gobbos says name is Normax. Yeah, that's pretty much what they are. But it's fun though. But it feels like it's just nice to see something a bit fresh. And when we fresh, I mean they've got Age of Sigmar orcs, cross them with Lord of the Rings, and that's enough for me. But right, so the best rule set ever until Age of Sigmar 4th edition, which will be the best one, and then 5th, and then so on. But not only are the models great, the Dominion box is also the best way to get a jump on the next edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Whether you're brand new to the game or you're a haggard veteran of the conflicts of the mortal realms, we wanted to bring you up to speed on the changes that make this the best rule set yet. This video doesn't really give much information, but we'll watch it.
And somehow this won't be all the changes.
I mean, if I were you two as well, I'd take absolute offence at that. Haggard veterans, that's what you two are.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever called me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll take that, actually.
And a veteran implies that I was good at something.
I've been called many worse things.
Yes. Well, I'd like a formal apology from Games Workshop. So, yes, I believe they watch this channel, obviously. Right, let's watch a company that made £180 million profit last year do a video. Goes on for 4 minutes. Jesus Christ.
Highlights of silver on the very edges of the arm.
He's not even got any paint on that brush.
It is one of the new ones, though.
Yeah, which means you can see the paint really easily.
It is I, the benevolent and omnipotent Sigmar.
Sigmar himself.
Silence! We have no time for inane mortal babblings. Now tell me, what are you doing?
Well, I'm just painting these new Stormcast Eternals. They're cool and all, but...
I said silence. Sigmar does not engage in idle chit-chat. I am here to give you 8 new things about the new Warhammer Age of Sigmar. 1. This is the best rule set you have ever seen. Period. Cleaner, clearer, and more elegant than ever before.
Amazing! And I thought they couldn't get any better.
They can, and they have. These are rules you could take home to meet your parents. 2.
How's the rules are better is one of the reasons.
That means more
best model in the game.
Get it out of here.
Yes. More chances to show off in front of the troops, thanks to all new heroic actions. 3.
Also called heroic interventions.
Are called that for a reason. And now they can accomplish some properly monstrous things in the charge phase.
That's why Kragnus' charge looks so good.
You mean, Sigmar?
You know, stomping, roaring, smashing, monster stuff. 4. Going second doesn't mean you'll be finishing in second place. With more command points to spend if your opponent takes the first turn, you'll have ample time and resources to disrupt their moves.
Does that mean there'll be less downtime?
Silence! Speaking of which, 5. No more watching from the sidelines as your troops take the brunt of the enemy's attack. Use reactive command abilities in every phase of the game to interrupt your opponent and frustrate their plans. 6. Endless spells are back, and more vicious than ever, with predatory endless spells now moving in every hero phase. That means double the magical maker. 7. Build your army in interesting ways using different core battalions. It's simple, flexible, and you even get some cool new abilities to try out.
Wow, surely there can't be anything else.
Incorrect. I said it, and I meant it. Sigmar never lies. Apart from Nagash. That guy sucks. 8. Send your army on a path to glory campaign and see your cheery little warriors rise from bumbling.
Fuck you, Sigmar. Fuck you.
I've just realised that Stormcast looks like Sean Connery.
Yes.
If you want to buy that model, buy it now before it gets removed.
There you have it from the big man himself. You get all of this and some rather swanky miniatures in the new Dominion box, the best one Age of Sigmar box set we've ever seen.
Right, Nick, gotta go. The mortal realms aren't going to save themselves.
From your own tyranny.
The greatest box set ever.
Representations of Sigmar in this video may not be representative of the God King himself. Divine intervention should be neither inferred nor expected. At least some persons in this video are entirely fiction. Terms and conditions apply. It is the best version of the game ever.
So Nick is entirely fictional.
When I saw him at Warhammer World, I mean, I didn't actually like. I mean, I went to shake his hand, and it was like it just went through it, like as if it was like a generated by like.
Watching that a second time, I almost feel like he knows how meta that is. Like he's sat there going, "This is so bad." That everyone watching this will know.
Surely the video is heresy as well.
Yeah, it's just like it's just
I'm
enjoying
the Never Once comment. Sigmar's catchphrase is silence. Explains why GW never tells us anything.
And then Rambo just put it simply as, "Oh God, no." Yes,
yes.
we was all 50 of us plus sat through this together for the second time. And you know what? It was no worse the second time. So, in short, this edition has. I just want to say, I get like I don't know, maybe because the second time I'm doing this, but like going through it and stuff. But like how the amount of times they said best ever, it's just like, God, build that wall for Trump by now if you're going to have that attitude. So, in short, this edition has improved the game by no small margin. We'll be exploring it in more detail over the coming weeks, and we think old and new fans alike are going to love it, which is weird because they're making it sound like everyone's going to love it. Well, it'll be great for them. So we have this picture here, makes no relevance, but we saw it. I just think it looks really cool for Warcry. I think really nice train setup. They've really done the swamp. I feel like they've done that swamp vibe really well, and not just said, "Oh yeah, they come from a swamp," and then that's it. But I suppose they need to have all this set up for their battle time.
It's going to be interesting to try and make that as if you try to move that across onto your actual bases, try and do some of that.
Well, the swamp looks like what's the water? What's not waterwood? What's it called?
Like driftwood.
Driftwood, yeah, things like that maybe. This would be a great time for Games Workshop to re-come out with like water effects.
Because they got rid of those years ago, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just buy it from another company if you're interested. I think that could be quite a cool thing.
UV resin.
Yeah, I mean, like,
it's expensive, but it's worth it.
Exactly. So it says the action's more intense, the balance is better, and it's easier than ever to learn.
You can test that, Yasmin.
How complicated was it before? Because it sounds really complicated now.
Well, that's a. Can I just say that's a lie? What they've said here, because the easiest way to have learned Age of Sigmar is when it had 4 pages, simple, no points, boom. Great, good old days they were. But proper Wild West. It says the rulebook itself boasts a new layout style that's clear and easy to understand. We'll have a lot more to say about it very soon.
There'll be another preview.
Give us dates. Like, honestly, for God's sake. Because I can't make tactic videos until I don't know when it is. So what's next after Dominion? That's not all for Dominion's magnificent armies. We also want you to buy these models. We couldn't resist showing you even more miniatures coming to both forces, including a magnificent chariot. Yeah, I should know how to say that. Chariot and one furious Troggoth. So we'll look at the boring one first.
That chariot is lovely.
That I do really like that chariot, and I know why you like it as well, Luke, because you saw the archer. Oh, new archer unit just for me because I was tempted to do Stormcast.
No.
You said it's a hero, but you get 2 Griffhounds, so it's 3 units in that, 3 models in that unit, so that's good.
Stormcast with 2 extra wounds.
Yeah, that chariot is quite cool. There's pictures, that's fine. So you got the Knight Judicator. So if you're a fan of Judicators, here's the Knight one. And I believe Judicators is one of the old units that's still taken a fair bit. I think it still holds its value a bit. But so the Knight Judicator with Griffhounds. So these masterful archers of the Stormcast Eternals rain arrows on the battlefield. They can also direct the gaze of Sigmar himself to unleash his wrath.
You know what I reckon? Because Judicators is an archer unit. I was looking at it earlier. I reckon he's just going to give them +1 to hit. Or extend their range slightly. Honestly, that's all I see happening here.
It could be. Giving +1 bravery could be useful.
Oh yeah, it could be even more useless.
A 6-inch bubble with +1 bravery just for Judicators. Does not affect the model itself. But what I'd say is as an extra thing. I mean it's Stormcast. There you go. Right, moving on. Then you've got this is cool though. This is cool, and we'll do D3 mortal wounds and a 4-up on the charge like every other chariot. But it'll be interesting because this is the first proper chariot, not including Gluttonous and maybe a few other things. This is the first proper chariot unit to come out for Age of Sigmar, and we're 6 years in. So it'll be interesting to see if they're going to make chariots work now, because most chariots, apart from just being a big screen or something along those lines, don't really have much of a purpose unless you've got a cheap unit for flanking. But obviously, this is not going to be expensive in points, probably, but not going to be cheap.
I think the only chariot I can think of that is any good, it would be the Celestial Arcanum or the Luminarch. Yeah, they are technically chariots.
They are. I can see why. Sometimes I said when I did safe startness, you could take them, but maybe just because it's cheap, and then you can try and make the most out of it, board control and stuff. But this would be have to be
different.
Exactly. So it says Storm Strike Chariot. So. Weathered in celestial energy that blinds the foe, the Stormcast Eternals of the Angelus Conclave employ swift griff chargers, chariots to as potent line breakers. And I think they're different to normal griff chargers, I was saying before. I thought griff chargers had claws. They look like griff lions.
Yeah, I think the feathers went further down before. I think that might have been the main difference.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure people can let us know. It says, of course, okay, so that's all it is. It says there, but I believe they said on this preview, though, that you can give him a spear. I think they said something like that, which is an interesting choice. His helmet is the best Stormcast helmet I've seen. But in terms of the crest, because that's actually
if I could do an entire
crest.
If I could do an entire Stormcast army with that helmet, done. Sign me up. Yeah.
I had to make my own helmet army.
You did?
I'm a slave starter. It's a bloody pain. But then again, I wasn't going to buy 400 of these things to get the helmet. But on to the cool stuff. Just see what else we've got. So the name is Norak says, very awesome. So many grots. There are certainly a lot of grots, and they're all cool. And Stence is saying, it's just more of Sigmar's fools. I couldn't agree more. And then the name is Norax again is saying, very awesome. There were so many grots. Yeah, there really were. I see you're just repeating your point there, but generally, lots of grots. More grots, the better. And Oryx. Now, here's a big one. And what you have there, the 2 best units come in for the Kruleboyz. But
naturally not in the box, so you have to buy it separately.
Exactly, and unlike the Stormcast stuff, you're actually going to want these things because they're cool. But we've got all the Kruleboyz stuff looks good. And some of us who hate Stormcast, I like 90% of the Stormcast models as well. I think they're done very well. But these are beautiful. Like that's the first. Did we already? I think we already had this chat, didn't we? That's like the first artillery for the Oryx race, kind of since Age of Sigmar, not including the old models. So what do you guys in the chat think about this stuff? Do you like it? Just reading that as well. Yeah, let us know what you think about this stuff. Is it like, it feels weird though, like they're showing us like expansions already, I think a little bit like
just dangling some catnip in front of you.
Yeah, it is. But like, do you think if they didn't show this straight away and they just released the box set and then everyone would buy it because like, oh, I really like some of these Kruleboyz models, and the only way to buy it is the big box set, and then they release these and go, you know what, I really like them, but I maybe only just want to paint up 1 or 2, and then you just buy it separately. But probably most people want a whole army rather than just one or 2.
I think also, if you think about it, this is showing sort of support. It's just like, yeah, there's the new army, it's going to be in this box, but we're not just going to leave it as the new army in the box, kind of like how Lumineth was on its first release. Like, the big thing was its box set of the army. This is showing, look, there's support for it. There's going to be lots of new cool things. You're going to want to expand your army. I think if you look at it that way, I can kind of see where they're coming from.
How we all expected Cursed City to have expansions, but then it didn't, and it got scrapped. And then this is like, don't worry, it's going to have expansions. So we've got Stence saying they kind of remind me of Jacq.l's. Yep, I can see that. Yeah, I think that's cool because I know it's a stand, but it kind of looks a bit like a shield as well, doesn't it? With the little grots as well. And then we got Slothman saying these orcs have so much of a Lord of the Rings vibe to them. I love it because I think, I don't know, like if you're watching this earlier, but I think you just joined the chat, so I presume you just joined the video. And it's like so many people, without talking to each other, have said it looks like Lord of the Rings stuff, which is Isengard, isn't it? It reminds me of the Isengard battery ram. There's like a model that's like
oh god, that's far too old now, isn't it?
Far too old. And Stence is saying I like it a lot. And then Sam saying, do you think we will get a new Start Collecting box with the edition? I am wanting to get into AOS, but I'm wondering if I should wait a little bit to see. If you mean a starter box, this is it. The minion is the starter box. If you mean a Start Collecting box for these armies, I would straight away say no. However, I said that about Soulblight Gravelords, and they got one. But the Soulblight Gravelord Start Collecting box, apart from the White King on Scouter Steed, is all old models. So I don't think there'll be new Start Collecting boxes for these two. If it's like, is there going to be new Start Collecting boxes for the current races and armies? They could do, but I kind of feel like the system they've got already works for them, but the Start Collecting boxes they already have, and making new ones, it just wouldn't require much resources and effort, but it would just be more effort for what it's worth. Because the more Start Collecting boxes they make with different models in, more devalues their model lines. So
I don't agree. I don't think this is going to be the edition Start Collecting box. I think, as I was sort of saying earlier, I think this is going to be the release of edition box. And I think they're then going to release 3 new Start Collecting for Age of Sigmar boxes, not faction boxes, but 3 new get into the game boxes. Bit like your Soul Wars. What are the 3? There's Soul Wars,
Stormstrike,
and something else.
Tempest Souls. Yeah,
Tempest Souls. Yeah, there'll be 3 new ones of those, which will be Stormcast and Kruleboyz.
But what most of those were, apart from the smallest one, with the Stormcast and Nighthorn, is that they were just smaller versions of this box, of like the Soul box.
I'd possibly say if you're brand new to Age of Sigmar and you're looking to get in, and you're not going in with someone else, waiting for one of those is probably actually going to be a better bet, because you're not trying to rush to get one of these with everyone else who's rushing to get one. I mean, if you love the art on that box front, you care about that, but I mean, go for it. But I'd possibly say wait, see what's else is coming out. Go into your local store and get a taster session once they know how the game's going, so you can get a feel of how it's going. and then look at setting yourselves up with one of the what will probably be one of the 3 new starter boxes. And that's also, you know, at that point you'll be able to get a bit more of an idea of what else is coming. You'll be able to get the battle tome with it. I think it'll just be a bit more set up for someone coming brand new straight into it.
I think that's a fair point. I agree. And just to read, because there's been a few things in the chat before we crack on what else they've got. We've got Rachel Mike saying, "Evening chaps, first time on the chat. Very welcome. Glad you're here. Hopefully you're enjoying the stuff." He says, I'm an existing player in AOS. I really like the new Stormcast, naturally, but for the first time, I'm totally blown away how cool the Oryx faction looks. You made the right choice. A lot better than the Stormcast. Like, we don't even need to ask people that question. It's just flat out. No, but like, I agree. Although it feels like normal Oryx crossed with Lord of the Rings Oryx, it also feels very unique and different at the same time. So I agree. I think, so well done, man. I say you made the right choice. And if you really like Stormcast anyway, this sounds like the box for you. So, you know, perfect situation. And then we've got Elic Man 24 saying, "I'm here for this. A friend and I are going to split this box, and I'm totally ready for it." Again, the box is perfect for you. That's awesome. What side are you going to take, though, Elic Man? Let me know if you're going to take the Oryx side or you're going to take the Stormcast side. Or you're going to kill your friend and take both sides after he's made the payment. And that is also an option and accepted if you're an Orc player, I believe. So Slothman is saying, one question I have is when I watch them open the box, the Stormcast lady, so what is it? Yindrasta.
Replace the Y with an I. Indrasta.
Yeah, there you go.
Yindrasta. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're useless. No, you got in joking. So I just want to say my pasta, because that sounds great. So my pasta was on the same sprue mixed with other models. Why do this if they are going to give separate release for her? Well, I have to tell you that the Knight of Shrouds is yet to be bought separately on a field steed. So there's no guarantee she'll be able to buy separately. And also the Spirit Torment, like the one from Soul Wars, or the Guardian of Souls, loads of the models from the current Age of Sigmar box set you can't buy separately, so there's no guarantee you will do. So like, it just something to bear in mind. And then we've got Max saying, really loving the new Kruleboyz. First time I've been real interested in any destruction army. The model below these giant crossbows is especially excellent. It really is, and I think it's my favorite overall one. We'll get to that in a moment. Don't you worry, Max. And then we've got Slothbear saying, going to buy this box just for her, plus core book, though. So problem solved for you there, mate, with that. And to be honest, with that, it's not really a bad purchase in terms of money anyway, because the value you'll get because if she was separately, she would be £35 roughly. She's like Sigbold sort of size, probably roughly. But then we have Max saying, if my pasta looked like Indrasta, I would go to Confession more. Yes, well, I mean, like, you know, the swings and roundabouts. Like, as someone once said, you know, the Mother of Nightmares, that model, they wouldn't mind her being in their nightmares. So, you know, we're a very interesting bunch, us Age of Sigmar fans. And then we've got Rachel Mike saying, I certainly hope they've got the number in each of the units correct to the Morgasts in the new battle tomes. That's been my main criticism of previous star sets. Yeah, I think we've said this about 3 times in this video so far. It's just like, please, why are you doing? Why not just make? It's not even like, oh, we can only give you 3 of them in this box. Otherwise, we're giving you too many. Cool, make the unit 3 then. Like, it's not hard. But we then have Ben Connor saying, are these new Hobgoblins Kruleboyz going to be part of the Orc War Clans army, or will they be their own independent army? They are going to be part of the Orc War Clans. They mentioned that earlier. They don't say that there's going to be an Orc War Clan Bastion coming out and they will feature in it, but they said that they are part of the Orc War Clans. So it does imply that they will be in the new battle tome for them, which implies that Iron Jaws and Bone Splitters may be getting an update soon, which is cool. And then we've got Edic Command saying, I'll be taking the Stormcast side. I was interested in both armies, but my friend was more into the Orcs, so I'll be going Stormcast, which works because I'm still pretty new to painting. Yeah, mate, that sounds absolutely fair. And the Stormcast, obviously, there's loads of different ways you can paint it and everything else, but you can get away with it not being too difficult and quite simple colors. So absolutely, like the ones they do on the box, for example, like obviously every male paint's been ages, but the color scheme is not too hard. And then we got Max there, and also anyone else interested in the various, very obvious teasing of Chaos Dwarves, like that had to be what they were referring to, right? Yep. Well, I think it's more clear than anyone. The Chaos Dwarves are getting a release, I believe, tomorrow. So make sure you go to, no Chaos release, no Chaos Dwarf release. And then it says new artillery unit for Orcs in Total War. I doubt it, but that would be cool. Yeah, because this is AOS and that's fantasy, but it would be cool. And then Adam saying just woke up from midnights to find an army worthy of Mordor for AOS. You are the first one to say that. Everyone's been saying Lord of the Rings, but an army worthy of Mordor for AOS. Well done. Although we did have like the Mordor Orcs or something, so I mentioned earlier. Yeah. Loving the aesthetic of the Isengard Oryx.
It is the Oryx card.
It is the Oryx.
Yeah. I have a quick question actually for Yasmin, because obviously, Nagash and I are coming in as Games Workshop called us haggard veterans.
Haggard, yeah. The amount of makeup that's on my face right now is unbelievable. You wouldn't understand.
So we're looking at this box from a perspective of we've played Age of Sigmar. I played 2.0. Nagash played 1 and 2. So we, to a degree, know sort of roughly how it's going to work. And we know a bit more about the units and why different things are in there. But looking at the box from your perspective as someone who's completely new to it all, do you see the box as a good way for you to be getting into it? Or do you say it is more aimed at us as veterans of we know what we're getting, we know why we're buying it? What's your take on it?
Oh my gosh.
Put you on the spot. Don't worry, you have 3 seconds to think.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's a bit of both. I think because don't they give the chance to sort of like other people? Like I think I've heard someone like knock around a couple of other YouTubers that get the boxes first to review them.
I'm not one of those people, but I like to do.
Yeah. Like if I was wanting to get into it, like fresh start, not just sort of like what I do, which is pick up random models and go, that'll be pretty to paint and end up painting it. But actually wanting to play it, I'd watch sort of like some of those videos first to know sort of like the playability. Because if I was, by just looking at it at face value right now, if I wanted to get into playing it, I think sort of like I'd try to find someone who wanted to play with me, who wanted to play Stormcasts or the Greenie Boys, and then sort of like go from there.
That's fair. It's just interesting because, as I said, we already know what we're getting out of there. We know what we're going in for. I was just interested to see because we've been discussing about as you say, you pick up models because you want to paint them, but you're now looking at more possibly getting into the playing side of it. I was interested if this box caught your attention for being like, yeah, I want to play. This is going to be great for me to learn how to play, or if it's more of this is quite a large box, there's a lot of models. It might be quite a confusing start. You might want to wait for something which is a slightly one of the more actual starting boxes.
Not something that's overwhelming, maybe.
As it is sort of like they keep banding around the sort of like it's so simple, and then you sort of
that is concerning.
It's the best ever. It's the best.
It's the best ever, didn't you know? It's the absolute best, and yet it's at face value. Everything you've told me, it sounds so confusing and overly complicated.
Well, we're only going off rumors and leaks of things I've been telling you, so we don't know everything.
We don't know everything, but if I can take it at face value, it looks like I can play something like straight from the box, so I can just start playing with what's in the box against what else is in the box, which is pretty cool. It looks like a really good way to sort of like learn the rules.
Okay, cool.
Because you could also probably play through the little booklet where I know like Feast of Bones had one. I think it's the last box that I bought, and that had like I think I don't know, like it may be in one battle it was just 3 Stalkers versus like 2 Lead Belchers and 3 normal Ogres. Just like so you're not even using the whole
you
box.
up.
Yeah, it builds you up.
Starting like a skirmish and going all the way through to the end, which is the full force they're fighting. So
yeah, I think that's a good point. No, definitely. So like that's interesting to hear. And then we've got Donald Cowie saying, question, do you feel that new Stormcast fit the Bretonnian feel, the rumours that were flying around not too long ago? No, we've been through this countless of times. Buy Flesh Eater Courts. There you go. And then we've got no, but I don't think they fit the thing. They look too ancient Greek. But then the guy
more of the old,
on the chariot looks more Roman.
They remind me more of the old High Elf faction. You've got the new Phoenix Guard, you've got the chariot with the archer, all the spears.
You like Phoenix Guard models, buy them now. But yeah, I'm sure they'll be fine. Don't worry, I always do.
I only need
another. Look, I haven't got a leg to stand on. But then we got Rachel saying that I'm still catching up on a lot of your content on your channel, Mikey. So forgive me if this question asked before. Are the very recent Battletome factions like Lumineth and Soulblight 3rd edition? They should be built in my like. So I'm not too sure about Lumineth, but I'll answer as well. I think the Lumineth and Soulblight hopefully have been made in mind for 3rd edition. That's all. I know like there's a lot of abilities that used to be like extra attacks and stuff in Soulblight, but are now turned into like reroll ones to hit. I don't know if like that's going to be reflected. So I don't know, but Games Workshop, being a company you think that thinks things through, should have made them capable. I think Kragnos' War Scroll has been made for 3rd edition because of the amount of mortal wound damage does in the charge sounds ridiculous. Well, like the potential sounds ridiculous, but by saying how like much more wounds monsters can now do in the charge now, it feels like it fits in. So it's like when Nif Deepkin first came out, and on battle round 3 they fought first. And that sounds ridiculous. Don't get me wrong, Nif Deepkin have never gone down and how good they are. Like they're really, really good. But it seemed ridiculous. And then when more battle tomes came out in 2nd edition, it really kind of just got level out because there were so many other things that could fight at the start of a combat phase, for example. So I think we'll have to wait and see on that one.
I would say that, or we'll get another battle tome for Lumineth in 6 months.
Yeah, there's a new like I think it's like an annual quarter like that. I'll be coming out with 3rd edition. Well, anyway, thanks, Mike. And if you're enjoying the content, all that sort of thing, got any questions on any of those videos that you've been watching, put it in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer best I can. So then we got Sam saying, as someone looking to get in for the first time, so that's a good question you asked. The box definitely looks overwhelming to me, lol. Will definitely keep my eye out for smaller versions coming out, like you guys said. Yeah, that I think that sounds about right. And again, like it's not a perspective that I'm from, so well, not now anyway. I would say that like, I didn't buy the big Start Collecting, but the big 1st edition Age of Sigmar box and all that sort of thing. I went for one of the well, they didn't have smaller ones, so you had to buy the big one. So yeah, that is an interesting point. And then Command is saying, got to say, from what they did mention, I love that they'll be adding more uses for command points for counterplay on the opponent's turn. Maybe my Gloomspite Gits can do something with all their CP. That's a great shout because we know how much CP they can get. Like, it's ridiculous how much they can generate. Literally chuck it at the enemy. So then you literally can, by the sounds of things, which means that there's going to be less downtime, all that sort of thing, and more interactive. Hopefully it doesn't mean there's like so much going on though, because at the end, I'm not gonna lie, there's just like you have to think every second of that game. Although it will make it more tactical, I'm like, this is too much work. But so going on anyway with this, because we paused for a while now. So we've got the Beast Skewer Killbow. So Kruleboyz may be more cunning than most, but they're still Oryx at the end of the day. The fact that they made this ridiculously massive crossbow is a fine example. Killbows are deadly to both large monsters and massives of foot troops, shooting straight through several at once.
Which means it's going to have 2 different shot attacks.
Yes, like 100%. I mean, and he's got like a little armory here, hasn't he, of like different projectiles to fire. And the thing what I'm liking about the Kruleboyz, because like the Stormcast, like, you know, the Nightblar and the Lord, whatever the other things were called, these Beast Steward Killbow. I look at that and if I ask them, yeah, exactly. It's like if I look at my opponents, go, what is that massive bow? It's called a killer bow. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And then everything else in the army makes sense as well. But then we have this beauty. It's great. I'll read a little bit here first. So we've got the Breaker boss on Maya Brute Troggoth. So those war leaders who succeeded in bending a Troggoth to their will are powerful indeed. The Breaker boss will goad these lumbering behemoths into battle, literally pointing them in the direction of the enemy and setting them to vent their rage. I just want to say, go on top, really cool skull mask. You know, I believe he's called Bane, this one. And then also the best thing is that the troll's got a little cushion. So he doesn't get severe back pain, which is very nice. Lower back pain.
More cushion for pushing.
Yeah. Exactly. Because this guy sits on a little seat, which is attached to just a tree log, and that's attached to him. And they actually, you can't see it here, but they said it on the stream that here's a little gut play he's got here of Mork's face. This matches exactly the trolls, which is very romantic. So I think that's cool. I like that. It says, keep an eye out for more news on both the Stormcast Tales and the Kruleboyz. Both armies are ready to be used on their own straight out of the Dominion or mixed into your existing collections, but these models are just the tip of the iceberg.
That might make it worth for starters then. Like if you've got a couple of friends that want to get together and start learning to play.
Yeah, because it will give you an army that's just ready to go straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird how it says like add to your existing collections. I think it just means your hobby collections. But I was like, oh, can these models then go into? Obviously, the Stormcast can, but they're their own sub allegiance, or they're their own allegiance. These are Kruleboyz. Then it says a leap into the era of the beast. So the new core book describes a more savage and cutthroat mortal realms. In the Dominion novel, Doris Hinks masterfully shows us firsthand the destructive forces that are on the rise in the realm of beasts and the indomitable defensives of Exelis as they're tested like never before. Wow, there's a lot of never evers like being chucked around here.
Do you think that was a note to Indomitus? The indomitable forces of Excelsis. They're referencing the Indomitus box there, right?
Yes. 100%. So it says, so much has happened since the end of the Soul Wars. This is the best way to get a look at the new lay of the land. When will the Dominion be here? So this is maybe the best news of the whole show. The Dominion box will be available to pre-order in June. I didn't catch that on the preview, so that's good.
They didn't say this in the preview.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Oh, they did. Okay. So they did say in the preview, which is good. I'm glad we all caught that. So June. When's the last Saturday in June? Let me just quickly find out.
I was going to say that'll be.
It's going to be June the
26th.
Oh, the 26th. So that's there's a fair gap between that and the end of June. So then again, they did say Soulblight Gravelords, I think, was pre-order. What was it? May? Was it May? Pre-order May? And then obviously it was because it only came out, didn't it? Not long ago. And I thought, it's going to be the end of May. So today. But actually, it was like the middle of May. So
I was going to say this could go on pre-order next week.
Yeah. It's really.
I think it will.
Literally, we could wake up tomorrow, go through tomorrow and have their what's happening next week? Pre-order. Oh,
wow! Yeah, it's just exactly. And then all we need to do is just get someone who's doing all the who has a third, who owns a third-party retailer, and just take a screenshot of the price, and then that'd be great. So this is maybe okay. So we've already read that. So it says this box will be available while stocks last.
Oh gosh.
We made a lot, but it certainly won't be around for. Okay, so this is not being made to order by the sounds of things.
Just make it to order. It's
They've
not
messed up.
complicated.
All right,
They've done it
guys.
again.
Guys,
They've
if
learned
you watch
nothing.
this video, don't quit now. Leave this video because, to be honest, you won't be able to get your hands on this box, so none of this matters. That's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So
On that bombshell.
but the core book with full art cover is exclusive to this set, but you will not be able to get your hands on. While the miniatures will be released separately in the future. Okay, that's good. So then that comes into why is the Stormcast, my pastor lady, is built into the same sprue as something else, but maybe made separately. Who knows?
It's because it will be in the largest of the start collecting new edition boxes.
Oh yeah,
it'll be her with like a set of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so it says while the miniatures will be released separately in the future, though Dominus gives you the chance to get them first and at a considerable saving. Basically, if you want a copy of Dominion, it would be really, really good idea to pre-order it when the time comes. So just going to read through the chat because I'm sure the chat's going to say a lot of stuff that we're thinking. So yes, because they mentioned that it would have two different shots in a normal. Okay, so that's talking about the crossbow. Then I was saying that I think look at 40k 9th edition. Indomitus was launch box, and then we got 3 tier of beginner boxes. Yeah, like we're mentioning, I think we'll get that. And then Eric saying when they're talking about the facts about the crossbow, that was during the live stream, so that's called here. And then Max is saying, oh hell yes, Fave model they revealed. Honestly, want to build an entire army around it, presumably the big troll. Yep, I wouldn't blame you if I think they said, it's a good sentiment. It'd be interesting to see how big it is. Like, is it like that, or is it? Do you know what I mean? There's like a bit of a difference in that. And then the evil one said, "Oh Lord, I scrolled ahead to the big guy." Gold. Yep, it's amazing, right? And then we've got Max saying Curse City flashbacks. And well, it's not the same because they're admitting that it's not going to be around for a Curse City. Like, yeah, it'll be around, just like you don't need to order it, order it in a year from now. Right.
Can you imagine 3rd edition comes out 1 box? That's it. If you got it, you got it. Otherwise, you just can't play. That's it. 3rd edition's gone, mate. Yeah. Good luck.
And then Max makes a great point. Why do they do this? It's like GW hates money because they could just make this box for, I'm not going to say forever, but for the next year, and it will just sell out and sell out and sell out. Because it will for like the next 6 months or whatever. So I don't know why they don't do it. Maybe I think because all the books are made in China and because it's literally down to delivering. If they could make loads of these boxes, they would, but maybe because I don't know, but like when they get like the books printed in China, maybe China, the factory over there said, right, we can print this many, and that's it. And then that's how
I've often said the best way they could have done it is you announce it 6 months before it's going to come out. Yeah, people have got to wait, but what you do is you have a 2 to 3 week window where it is made to order. If you got it during that time, you get it. If you didn't, then you didn't. But you had 3 weeks to get your order in. At that point, it is purely on yourself. And then they'd know definitively how many they'd need. They wouldn't need to make any to go to the stores. Everyone who wants one, in theory, will have got one because they'll have put in the order. And if you didn't, then you had 3 weeks to order it. And I'm sorry, but at that point, it's on you.
Mine, 3 weeks.
My major problem with Games Workshop seems to be sort of like the fact that there used to be this small little mum and pop shop that you go to. And now sort of like, especially over the past year with everything that's gone on, they've just blown up and they've not kept up with it. They've still got this mam and paps sort of mindset.
What I think about getting they've definitely blown up over the last year, but they've been blown up for a while now. Like been getting bigger and bigger. And what I say is like when you say they've still got that sort of like small sort of company vibes that it's not. And I don't think I take that as they don't mean that innocently. Like they'll go like, oh, you can't really blame us though because we're quite a small company. And hey, like you love our models and we're like your best hobby. It's like no, fuck off. You're worth more than like 3 times the UK fishing industry. You can sort this out. Like it's like the app team for AOS, and 40k was a complete disaster. But honestly, what I'm trying to say is, this is going a bit off topic, but what I'm trying to say is, Games Workshop, stop being Smaug sitting on your pile of gold. Spend some of your money to make your product better, which is then obviously going to be future placement. I mean, I've got no idea in how to run an international business, so I don't know anything, but that's just common sense. So
I don't think they do, to be honest. I think they need to take some lessons out of the Oleg family's books. The Oleg family run Lego, and I think they sort of like need to have a business sit down with Lego and go, when your business blew up internationally, how the heck did you deal with this?
Yeah, I like, it's easy for me to criticize Games Workshop, but I feel like it's just out of a lazy thing. Like, they're making money as it is. Do they want to invest? Like, if they invested more, they'll get more in their returns. But like, it's like the shareholders just seem to be. I don't know. It's a completely different conversation, isn't it? And get into another one. But you've got Donald saying, when is the GW financial report due?
It's already been. Back in April.
Wasn't it like, it was 180 million, wasn't it?
Profit. Oh, it was ludicrous. Like, it was best year ever. They've given their staff, dependent on how long they've lived there, worked at the company, but they've just given their staff up to £5,000 each in bonus.
That's in stocks. They've actually given.
It's not, because I know someone who works there, and they have been given it in cash.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah,
that's good. That's nice then, because I know they don't pay their staff loads of money, so that's good. And then Slothman saying they've chosen the Cursed City as the distribution point for this box set. Yep, they made Northern Khan. Yep, silly, isn't it? And then we got Alec Man saying, at least they said they'd be making a lot of them. I guess
they said that about the Indominus box.
Look, it's like politicians. Just define what an awful amount means. I mean, the fact that you're using the word awful, I think, is a really poor choice of words. So Donald says, wish GW would move in printing of books to the UK. I know, but GW like money. And it's cheaper over there.
Also, the price of all our books would go up, and £25 is ridiculous enough as it is.
I know, and the thing is, like, how much money do they make on a £25 book?
Oh god,
yeah, like, they can make it here, and they'll still make a lot of profit. It's crazy. It's like, if you ever watch Dragon's Den, and like you see someone go on there, make a pitch meeting and all that, and then they'll ask them, how much does your product cost to make? And they'll go $1.50, and they'll say, how much do you sell it for? Like, it retails at $10. And you go, oh, that's a good profit margin. The Games Workshop ever went on Dragon's Den, wouldn't happen. And then you go, how much you made a product? Oh, it cost 2p. How much you sell it for? £40. It's like, but the mold costs a lot of money to make, but we make that up in pre-orders. But it's like, it's crazy, right? So it says, Max says, GW is weird. They used to be a real good, then sometimes in the mid 2000s, before the community site was launched, they sucked. Then they got good at communicating again. Now they're losing their touch again. I agree, like, because they were really good, like a few years ago, and then it's weird. Eric Mountain looks at the Mortal Realms magazines, remembers it's not in American size, America size. Yeah, it's like
it'll be coming.
It'll be coming. The Australians got it before you. I don't know how that works, but it's probably close to China. But
no, it's straight and simple Empire. Canada will get it next.
Yeah, exactly. Stay in the Commonwealth. Stay in the Commonwealth, you would have been fine. Doesn't explain why Spain has it. Right, and then we've got Cheesy saying, I want to use the Troggoth in my Troggoth army. Oh no, that would make loads of sense, wouldn't it? That's a shame.
I mean,
that way.
To be fair, I guess
you can use it as a Troggoth, like,
the Troggoth itself isn't actually in charge. It's someone leading a Troggoth. The Troggoth's just the mount.
Yeah.
When you look at it that way, the Troggoth is actually just a mount here. It's not the Troggoth.
Oh, the Troggoth has 2 attacks that hits on a 4 and wins on a 5. So, like, I hope you're not too excited. It's a horse.
I'm pretty sure that's just as good as the Blood Knights, right?
I love what Maximum Death says.
Woo, let's go Canada. Get a coupon for our poutine with our Mortal Realms coffee. That would be excellent. I'd love some poutine.
That would be great. Go there, get some pancakes, some maple syrup, some more maple syrup and pancakes. Oh,
chips with cheese curd and custard and gravy.
Imagine how this works. You go outside the door, you look to your right, there's a forest, there's a bear there, then you look at the left, there's the ocean, there's a killer whale jumping. Like it's pretty much just like that in Canada. And then the odd moose. Do you know how the size of moose is? They're like ridiculous.
They're huge.
Yeah, like.
Is it mooses or is it mises?
Moose. Moose is the plural of moose.
We need a Canadian to confirm. But we've got Softman saying at least Imperial Magazine is coming to the US. So like the Conquest stuff, I think. So I have hope for future mags. Not sure for Canada, but just in general.
Maple syrup is the best glue for plastic models. I can believe that. Exactly. Although I presume it's second only to baked on baked beans at the bottom of a pan.
Don't forget Weetabix.
And Weetabix, yeah.
I love how
I think we're sidetracking now.
We've still got about 60 people watching this, and we've massively sidetracked. But that's really it. Because to be honest, all I had more, I said, just to do Games Workshop's marketing for them. I mean, I do loads of free marketing for them in case they want to try and demonetize any of my videos. So it says, learn more. The Warhammer Age of Sigmar website has been fully updated with information on the new armies and settings. Make sure to sign up for the newsletter so you get the latest updates as soon as possible. Go on Facebook and you'll just see the leaks come out before, so it's fine. It says, sort of, they take a bit of artistic license with the likeness.
That's in regards to something earlier.
Way further on. I haven't been able to find it.
Oh, that's because they're presuming I'm reading this in 5 minutes and not 2 hours. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at... No, we're not going to go on the website because...
No, I've just looked. It's a whole nother video.
I said to Luke and Yasmin that we'll do a video for about an hour. So here we are. And obviously we were talking before this went live. But I tell you what, it's been a really good video. It's been really nice. We were saying if we should do it live or not, and we decided to. And it's been really, I think that was a really good idea. Because got loads of you guys in the chat and got to hear your thoughts rather than just sort of like reacting to your comments later. But, you know, as always, if you are watching this, you just joined now, for example, the video will be ending soon. You can watch it from the beginning in a moment, and then you can leave any questions you've got in the comments and everything like that. Because this is a cool box set. Like for me, apart from if I ever want to convert these Stormcast into my Sinesh, I can do it. Like it'll work really well. But apart from that, I wasn't too bothered about what this box set was because I knew it wouldn't be death because obviously Soul Blight came out and Soul Wars was the last one. But I'm happy that it's a cool, fun army. That's like Destruction hasn't had much love in general, so I'm happy. I think it was a lot of news, and the preview itself went on for like over an hour. So it's like a really a nice thing. And it was, so then we got Max saying it was fun talking live, glad to hear it. And then everyone saying glad I could catch it live, to be honest. Yeah, exactly, guys. And if you do like the video, again, that massively helps out the channel. So smash the like button if you did enjoy this video. Honestly, so easy. It's just there. Click it. And then by smashing the subscribe button you haven't already, because especially on these videos, a lot of people who watch these videos don't subscribe to the channel. So please smash the subscribe button. It means the world to me, really helps out the channel. It's the way how the channel grows, and it's free to do so. And by smashing the bell notification button, so that's the little bell, that means that you'll never miss one of my future videos, especially if you're interested in all the news and third edition. Don't you worry, I'll be covering it as much as I can going forward, or you can join any of my other series and do it at the moment. It means you won't miss one of those videos either. So smash those 3 buttons. Absolutely free for you to do so. Massively makes a difference. And what I want to say now is going to be a massive shout out again to my patrons. I won't have them on the screen, but I'll just read their names out. These people, because of them, they allow me to be able to do this YouTube channel. So I always say YouTube, the amount of mainly time, but also like resources, effort, money that gets poured into this. There's no profit. There's no return apart from how much I know that some of you guys really appreciate it. And that means the world to me and gives me the reason and justification for keeping this up. So my biggest supporter is going to be my Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon, who is going to be Filq. Thank you so much for your continued support, mate. That tier, that massively helps out the channel. So thank you so much for being so generous. And then my Morgasts, who's going to be bleed red. Thank you for keeping up as well. That really helps the channel, especially at that tier. And then my vampires, who are Mir, Stence, Ras321, who was in the chat earlier, and David A, Ronni H, Darren L, SpareBear, Christopher H, Northdrop, Nathan F, and Andrew G. And I know Stence was in the chat as well. So thank you to you two guys for joining the chat. And thank you to all my vampires for allowing me to keep doing this. And my Necromancers, who is Jacq.l, RadiationRiley, AW77, Dice Sagas, WolfNick, Michal W, Cranky Wombat, Madcap, Christopher C, Christopher F, James S, Thomas B, Steve T, James T, Patrick F, JJ, and R. Christopher. Thank you all so much for allowing me to keep doing this and try and help people get into Age of Sigmar and to continue their Age of Sigmar journey. If anyone would like to become one of these amazing people, click the join button next to the subscribe button. It will allow you to become a member here on Age of Nagash, where you can give anything from just £1 a month, go straight towards keeping the channel going. It's the reason how I can keep doing this. Or if you'd like to become a patron, there's a link to my Patreon at the top of the description down below. Click that link, take it to my Patreon, and you can give anything from just $1 a month. And like I say, it goes straight towards my channel. If I didn't have any YouTube members or patrons, wouldn't be doing this, wouldn't be worth it. So thank you to all of these people for making me be able to do this. And if you enjoy the content, say thank you to them as well. It's like I say, they make it all possible. But with that aside, the main thing, I'm just glad you came and watched this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. And you can't support in that kind of way, like I mentioned. Just smash the like, subscribe, bell notification. 3 easy ways, absolutely free, makes a big difference. And I'll just read the chat, see if we've got anything else just before we go. So Max saying the real question is, did you react to the Nagash joke in the one video? I can't remember what I said, but I think I just said "fuck you, Sigma." In general, I think it's a statement that I'm prepared to make. I'm happy to go to a committee of MPs to talk about how I think the organisation of Nagash's structure is the best compared to Sigma's. So if MPs would like to reach out to me, my local one, that'd be great. We could get that arranged. But yeah, the audacity of Sigma. All right, spill. But what I think is that everyone criticizes Nagash for his plans of world domination, mortal realms domination, and everything else, and say, oh, he's bad and he's evil and all that. Every other bloody god's trying to do the same thing, and every other bloody god says they're the best at this. They want to create their own order of the world, of the mortal realms. And Nagash is the only one who actually admits it. And then that's why he gets all the stick. Sigma's just as bad. He makes people not be able to rest in peace. He makes people fight until they lose everything that they once were. But yes, that is my reaction. And then Eric Man is saying, yeah, good seeing this live, though I joined it a bit late. No worries, man. If you want to, catch from the beginning, check it in a moment. But I'm glad you liked it. And then Retail Mike saying, learning so much from your channel. So thanks very much for all your effort. Great chat. You're very welcome. Really glad to hear that. And like I said, if you've got any questions or anything I can help you, mate, just put in the comments of the video. And what I will say is I have actually got a Discord for anyone who would like to join the Discord. As I mentioned this yesterday, so many people joined. It was fantastic. I think we've got over 260 something members now. It's great. It's a buzzing community. We're always talking about the news. So if you want to chat a bit more about what we've seen here beyond this video, go join the Discord. It's in the link of this video. You can join there. Luke and Yasmin are on there as well, so we can all talk about it together. And there's lots of stuff. There's spoiler chats. There's Warhammer. There's painting. There's games, like video game stuff on Warhammer. Join it. Have a lot of fun. And then Sam, just to finish it off, is saying, loved getting to interact live with you guys. Thanks for all the awesome content you have. You are very welcome, and I will never get fed up of hearing people say nice things about my content. But no, that's generally really nice to hear. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, so remember, smash the like, subscribe, bell notification. Thank you so much for watching this video. That's the main thing. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Let me know if you're going to decide to buy this in the comments of this video as well. It'd be cool to hear that. And as always, guys, until next time, remember to stay safe, stay hygienic, wash your hands. For God's sake, wear a mask when you have to. So by the time this box set comes out, you'll be able to play it on the tabletop as always. And with that, guys, I'm going to leave to actually get some dinner. But remember, until next time, as always, everything Sigma said in this video is a complete fucking lie. And remember that Nagash is all, and all is one in Nagash. See you guys later. And also, thank you very much for Yasmin and Luke for joining me before I click the end button, because I always say that I've got the Thank you very much. It was great.
Thank you for having us.
Anyway,
Thanks,
cheers, guys.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.